This year has been nothing short of chaotic for rock music, particularly for those keeping the beat behind the kit. 2025 has turned into an unexpected exodus of drummers from some of the most iconic bands in the world. Sudden departures, cryptic statements, silent stages, and for the most part, fans have been left with more questions than answers. Let's break it down. It all began in April, when The Who dismissed longtime drummer Zak Starkey, son of the legendary Ringo Starr. Zak wasn't just any replacement. He'd been pounding the skins for The Who since 1996, nearly 3 decades of loyalty and thunder. But after a falling out with frontman Roger Daltrey, Starkey was abruptly shown the door. 3 days later, he was back in, at least temporarily, after Pete Townshend stepped in and issued a public statement calling the whole incident a misunderstanding. But if fans thought that was the end of it, they were sorely mistaken. Just 2 weeks after that reinstatement, Starkey was ousted again, this time for good. And worse, he claims he was pressured to say it was his choice. In his own words, "I was fired 2 weeks after reinstatement and asked to make a statement saying I had quit The Who to pursue other musical endeavors." This would be a lie. I love The Who and would never have quit. The honesty in his message only deepened the mystery and left fans questioning what was really going on behind the curtain. Then came May, and with it, a seismic shift in another rock juggernaut, Foo Fighters. After taking up the mantle left behind by the late, beloved Taylor Hawkins, acclaimed drummer Josh Freese had joined the band with high hopes and heavy expectations. His performances were stellar, his energy unmatched, but behind the scenes, something clearly didn't click. Out of nowhere, Freese took to Instagram to share the news that Foo Fighters had decided to go in a different direction with their drummer. No reason was given. No explanation followed. The band remained publicly silent, except for a brief nod and a note from Dave Grohl, thanking Freese for his contribution while introducing their latest single. A quiet send-off for a drummer who had poured 2 years of his heart into the band. As of now, The Who are continuing their tour with Scott DeVowers, who also drums for Daltrey's solo act. But Foo Fighters, their next move remains a tightly guarded secret as they gear up for a stage return in October. Then came July 7th, a date that will now live in infamy for Pearl Jam fans. Out of the blue, drummer Matt Cameron, a staple of the band for 27 years, announced he was stepping down. Unlike the other cases, Cameron wasn't fired. He made it clear this was his own decision. Or so it seemed. "I've taken my final steps down the drum riser for the mighty Pearl Jam," he wrote, paying tribute to a journey that started back in 1998, shortly after Soundgarden disbanded. It was a full-circle moment when Eddie Vedder called on him to step in after Jack Irons left. What was meant to be a temporary gig turned permanent after Cameron proved to be the glue that held the rhythm together. Mike McCready once said Cameron made them a better band than they'd ever been. That's why his exit hit so hard. No feud, no scandal, just a sudden goodbye and the cryptic promise that there's more to follow. Fans were quick to speculate. Could Matt Cameron be the missing puzzle piece in Foo Fighters' next chapter? Is another supergroup forming, or is he walking away from the rock spotlight altogether? Pearl Jam issued their own heartfelt statement, honoring Cameron's legacy while hinting at underlying complexities. From being one of our first musical heroes in Skin Yard and Soundgarden to playing on our first demos in 1990, Matt Cameron has been a singular and true powerhouse. The tone was warm, but noticeably absent was any clear reason for his departure or confirmation that it was mutual. So here we are, 3 massive bands, 3 high-profile drummer exits, 0 closure. 2025 is quickly becoming a year of reckoning for the role of the drummer in rock's biggest acts. With backstage tension, creative shifts, and evolving musical identities all at play, one thing is certain: this isn't just about losing bandmates, it's about the soul of the rhythm section. Where these stories go next is anyone's guess. But one thing's for sure: fans everywhere are listening closely to the silence between the beats. And yet, amid the silence from the bands themselves, the drummer shakeup has sparked a wider conversation across the rock community. Is this a generational shift? Are creative tensions finally boiling over after years of compromise? Or is this simply the natural evolution of legendary acts grappling with how to stay relevant, energized, and united in an ever-changing musical landscape? As fans speculate, insiders whisper of long-standing internal dynamics, contractual frustrations, and even the mental and physical toll of relentless touring schedules, especially post-pandemic. At the same time, these events have reignited interest in the role of the drummer, not just as a timekeeper, but as an emotional engine of a band. For decades, drummers like Keith Moon, John Bonham, and Taylor Hawkins weren't just musicians. They were larger-than-life forces whose presence defined the identity of their groups. With so many iconic bands now navigating this changing of the guard, the question becomes, who can step into those shoes, not just musically, but spiritually? Meanwhile, fan communities are not just reacting, they're rallying. Online forums, tribute posts, and speculative threads are thriving, with theories, tributes, and even petitions calling for proper recognition and clarity. Many are asking for transparency and closure. Others, more nostalgically, are simply mourning the end of an era. Whatever comes next, this moment feels like a turning point, a reminder that even in rock and roll, nothing stays still for long. In the end, perhaps what we're witnessing is not just a shakeup, but a passing of the torch. As the veteran drummers who helped define entire generations of rock step away, voluntarily or otherwise, a space opens for new talent, new energy, and possibly a reimagining of what rock drumming can be in this era. Whether these bands choose to bring in fresh faces, reunite with past collaborators, or surprise us with left-field choices, one thing remains certain: the beat goes on. And in the heart of rock music, it's the drummer who always sets the pulse for what comes next.